they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In our heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Amadaya production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In our heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen AmadayAShakur show. I'm your host, Queen AmadayAShakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell. Hold on, where is that coming from? Hold on. Okay, I was like, what is playing? Okay, so with that all been said, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr_A_Shakur and on Twitter at DGoddess27. As per usual, if you don't like the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Okay, so I apologize for being late, you guys, but I just saw some interesting news that I had not heard about, and it seems like this was initially reported about 5 days ago. So we're going to talk about that in a second. Okay, so let's see who all is in here. Okay, Claudette, Diddy in Dallas, Nessie X, Pearly, Cookie, Lillian X. All right, Buckhurst, DC, Laverne. Okay, let's get into it. Andrea, G from the land, Gwendolyn. All right. So with that all been said, hey, Truth Brown, Anita Harrell Jr. All right, Claudette's in the house. Okay, so shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. And shout out to my moderators for putting in work, even though I don't see any of them. I'm sure they'll be here soon. But anyway, with that all being said, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Okay, there's Desmond. All right, DJ Big Six, most hated bronze black power god, my aunt Egypt. Okay, let's get into it. All right, so let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes for your hair at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so let's get into this story because like I said, I had not heard anything about this. Other things have been dominating the news, specifically the situation with Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony for one. But so and all of the foolishness Trump's doing. But let's talk about it because 10 New York prison guards have been indicted, 2 for murder in connection to inmates beating death. Now, this was, like I said, reported a few days ago, April the 16th. Now, 10 New York corrections officers were charged in an 11-count grand jury indictment on Wednesday in connection to the March 1st beating. They beat this man to death, okay, this inmate by the name of Messiah Nansui, according to charging documents. 2 officers, Jonah Levy and Caleb Blair, were charged with the most serious offense in the indictment, which is second-degree murder, okay, and are now they're also each facing 5 additional charges of first-degree manslaughter, first and second-degree gang assault, conspiracy, and intent to defraud. Okay, Levi and Blair, along with the other 8 correctional officers indicted in this case, were arraigned during a hearing on Wednesday afternoon. They pleaded not guilty to all charges, according to court documents. ABC News has reached out to attorneys representing Levi and Blair, but requests for comments were not immediately returned. Let me tell you all something. This is very interesting because it wasn't that long ago where Robert Brooks was beaten to death by 13 corrections officers. Do you see the gang mentality? Do you see the mob mentality? These people are gangs, okay? These people are walking around in these prisons. These people are walking around in police departments, and they're gang members. And I've told you all this before. It's been proven. It's documented, okay? Let's not forget about the executioners and the banditos, all right, who were part of the LA Sheriff's Department, okay? The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. So with that all being said, this is no surprise to me, but let's get into it because New York Governor Kathy Hochul announced the indictments on Tuesday. Nansui, 22 years old, was serving a 5-year sentence for second-degree criminal possession of a weapon at Mid-State Correctional Facility, a medium security state prison in the town of Marcy in Oneida County, New York. They say the tragic death of Mr. Nansui at the hands of corrections officers who are responsible for protecting the incarcerated population is deeply, deeply disturbing. This is what Governor Hochul said in a video released by her office on Tuesday, saying the loss of any life in our correctional facilities is one too many. Well, you know, she's always saying this stuff when these things happen, but what I would like for her to do more so is to do something about it. Okay, don't just sit up here and tell us it's sorry, it's tragic, because we all know that. But what are you going to do about it? This is going on in your state. What are you going to do about it is what I would like to know. So let's go to the news footage because I first saw this on X. Someone posted a clip. I saw it right before I went live, and I was watching it. And then I went and tried to dig up some more information on it. Like I said, that's one of the reasons I was late. Okay, so let's listen to this.
Disturbing and graphic details have been released in how Mid-State Correctional inmate Messiah Nansui died on March 1st. This as 10 corrections officers from both Mid-State and Marcy correctional facilities are indicted and face a judge in Oneida County Court for the first time. It is your top story tonight. First, let's break down the top charges for each defendant. Charged with murder, manslaughter, gang assault, and more are Caleb Blair and Jonah Levy. Manslaughter, gang assault, conspiracy, and more, Thomas Eck, Craig Klemick, Daniel Berger, Francis Chandler, and David Ferrone. Charged with conspiracy, Nicholas Vitale. Tampering with physical evidence, Daniel Slauson. And offering a false instrument for filing, Michael Efert. News Channel 2's Jolene Ferris was in court for today's proceedings. She has the graphic details from the indictment, how Messiah Nansui died, and how some of the corrections officers charged in his death are accused of trying to cover it up.
The ones who used to hold the keys wore the cuffs into Oneida County Court Wednesday, charged with crimes ranging from manslaughter and murder.
Not an intentional murder, but a murder so depraved and so wanton and disregarding of human life that New York law allows it to rise to the level of intentional murder.
To gang assault and conspiracy.
On the following morning, at a diner called Raspberries in Oneida County, all of the co-conspirators met and agreed to continue with the story that everything they did was completely proper.
The special prosecutor says 10:55 a.m. March 1st, Midstate Correctional Facility inmate Messiah Nantwi was fine, and by 10:58, a radio call was made for backup and a CERT team response. Special Prosecutor Bill Fitzpatrick says the grand jury in this case suggests it's something that spiraled out of control unnecessarily.
The alleged contact that began between the National Guard and Mr. Nantwi had to do with Mr. Nantwi interjecting himself in another incarcerated individual's effort to obtain medication.
Some of the 10 officers charged in Midstate Correctional Facility inmate Messiah Nantwi's death are accused of beating him with their fists, boots, and batons in the head, delivering 69 blows to his body alone, continuing the assault in a stairwell on the way to the infirmary, and dumping the 22-year-old in a holding cell in the infirmary and continuing the assault there with a conscious effort to cover it up.
Fragments of Mr. Nantwi's entrance into the infirmary are captured on one corrections officer's body-worn camera. It is not a continuing flow, but there are enough indications to name and identify the individuals involved and some of the things that occurred. Many other corrections officers, apparently intentionally, either turned off their cameras, placed them in an area of concealment, or simply looked the other way.
After the deadly assault, Fitzpatrick says, came a plot to plant a weapon, a plot that was caught on tape.
A body-worn camera intentionally hung in a men's room at the infirmary of Midstate caught two of the co-conspirators discussing the conspiracy to plant the weapon, again posthumously, on Mr. Nantwi.
From the state corrections commissioner in Utica today, acknowledgement and a promise to do better.
The people entrusted to our care deserve better than this. We hired external law firms to conduct a full review of the system, which is currently underway.
Not in court today, 6 others who are cooperating with the special prosecutor, 2 of whom are pleading guilty to felonies, 4 to misdemeanors. The 10 officers in court today are due back in Oneida County Court through May to report on plea offers. Those for whom bail was set posted bail. Jolene Ferris, News Channel 2.
A darn shame, okay? Just a darn shame. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to go to the press conference, okay, that they held on yesterday. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. It looks like it was from 16 hours ago. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen.
Grand jury reported out a single indictment charging 10 current and former corrections officers with various crimes relating to the death of Mr. Nantwi. 6 other corrections officers who have not appeared in court yet have agreed to cooperate with the special prosecutor, and I have made deals with them. 2 of them will be pleading to felonies, and 4 of them will be pleading to various misdemeanors. The people are able to show that all was well in Building 21 where Mr. Nantwi resided. I know that because the corrections officer who was assigned to do rounds on that occasion walked past his room at approximately 10:55 a.m. and there was nothing going on. At about 10:58 a.m., a call went out over the radio at the facility calling for backup. The evidence will show that when the CERT team responded and got there at approximately 11 a.m., there was virtually no or minimal effort to determine what was the need for the backup, what the nature of the call was. No weapons were observed and no assaultive behavior was observed by the CERT team members as they entered Building 21. A non-CERT team member, a corrections officer, recorded the last video of Mr. Nantwey before the alleged assault, and he was no longer able to communicate. That corrections officer exited the room and various CERT team members entered. None of them, to our knowledge at this point, were wearing mandated body-worn cameras. Approximately 4.5 minutes later, Mr. Nantwey is removed from his room and taken down 3 sets of stairs, where it is alleged by the grand jury that an additional assault occurred in the stairwell. Handcuffed and taken to the infirmary and laid on the floor in a holding cell, an additional assault is alleged to have occurred by the grand jury. It was determined by the Onondaga County medical examiner that Mr. Nantwey died from traumatic brain injuries as a result of violent blows to his head, as well as at least 69 other serious blows about his body. No COs required any medical intervention. Who, if anyone, was justified in using physical force against Mr. Nantwey?
Okay, I have heard enough. I have heard enough. I have heard enough. Now, he was handcuffed, so he couldn't fight back to defend himself. He couldn't cover certain parts of his body to try to protect himself from the blows. They hit him numerous of times in his head, so much so that he had brain injuries and all of that, plus a myriad of other blows. Now, the question is, why aren't these demons charged with first-degree murder? Why are they talking about manslaughter and second-degree murder? No, this is premeditated. This is premeditated. They meant to kill him. They were attempting to kill him, and they did. That was the plan. Now, they went and got him, took him to the stairwell, beat him some more, took him to the infirmary, laid him on the floor, and continued the assault. Sounds like they were trying to kill him to me, and then they succeeded in doing so. So why is this not premeditated murder? Why is this not first-degree murder? Now, I want you all to pay attention, because Carmelo Anthony has been charged with first-degree murder. And these thugs, these demons and devils, they're not beating the hell out of a man until he was dead, a man who was handcuffed and did not fight them back. And how do you know that? Because he was handcuffed. And also because they said none of the COs required any medical treatment. So that means there was no harm done to any of them. So what was the reason? What's their excuse for beating this man to death? Okay? I'm sure we all know what the reason is: hate and racism. Let's continue and pay attention. You always see people who look like them beating to death a person who looks like me. But what you don't see is a person who looks like me, or a group of people, COs who look like me, beating one of them to death. Sadly, they'll do it to their own. They won't do it to those who don't look like them. Please pay attention. Now, with that all been said, let's talk about Diddy. Let's talk about Diddy. This is a sad story, and I'm going to be following it up. Okay, I'm going to be keeping up with this story, keep you all updated. Okay, so now let's talk about Diddy's nefarious self. Judge in Diddy's trafficking trial bars most testimony about uncharged SEX assaults. Jury selection will begin May the 5th after the trial judge rejected a 2-month deal and ruled on key evidentiary issues, including uncharged acts and witnesses being anonymous. Now, let me tell you all something. Now, this is what I was telling you all about. Okay, please pay attention, because the judge has supposedly said some of the witnesses that the prosecution wanted to testify, there's 4 victims that will testify, but there's also supposedly 4 other witnesses who were supposed to testify that were not assaulted by Diddy. And so the judge has said, has barred some of the testimony, except for maybe 1 or 2 of them. We'll get into it so I can make sure I have this correct. But the bottom line is the judge shouldn't have allowed any of it in. You see, because I already told you all that that's why Harvey Weinstein got a mistrial. That's why he's back in court for a retrial. because they allowed people who were not a part of the criminal case to waltz in and testify against him. Okay? So that testimony really shouldn't have had anything to do with the criminal case, is what his attorney said, because they weren't accusing him criminally. And even if they said anything civilly, that had nothing to do with the criminal case. And therefore, that was prejudicial information being given in front of the jury. And so now, look, here we are. So the same thing could happen to Diddy. I don't know why the judge is allowing it. Okay, Sean Diddy Combs will begin trial next month as scheduled after a judge on Friday rejected his lawyer's request for a 2-month delay. But the jury won't hear about as many uncharged sexual assaults as prosecutors had hoped. U.S. District Judge Arun Subramanian has said he has concerns for Combs' lawyers about evidence related to an alleged victim. To an alleged victim don't warrant delay. That's what he said. Evidence related to an alleged victim doesn't warrant delay, and the two new charges in the superseding indictment only expand on existing charges. Okay, so saying that it is unclear why there isn't sufficient time to prepare. Subramanian said jury selection will proceed on May the 5th and opening statements will be expected on May the 12th, okay, without a doubt. Now, the judge issued several other orders that will take effect, that will affect the trial, including one that allows 3 alleged victims to testify under pseudonyms instead of their true legal names. He gave Combs at least a big win by granting his motion to exclude testimony about prior bad acts from all but one proposed witness. See, this is what I told you all about. Prior bad acts. That's what I told you all about. Okay, this is prejudicial. The lawyers can come back on appeal. Okay, and this is exactly what they're going to do. Please pay attention. Prosecutors wanted 3 other alleged uncharged victims to testify, okay, including one who was a minor at the time that Combs allegedly assaulted them. Subramanian also said Warner Brothers must give Combs' lawyers outtakes from the fall of Diddy, okay, from the documentary series about Combs that includes interviews with 2 alleged victims. So Diddy is going to be privy to that information. I'm kind of surprised that the judge is allowing him to have that. So anyway, with that all being said, I hope nobody contradicted themselves or they're going to be looking crazy. Now, goes on to say, hold on, pop-ups, beloveds. Okay, so anyway, goes on to say that, and he said Combs' former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who will testify under her true name as victim 1, must disclose to Combs' lawyers drafts of her memoirs, writing by April the 25th. So she has to give up the goods. Wow, I'm going to have to change the title to this. But Subramanian said that Ventura doesn't have to release other information sought, such as bank statements and diaries, and he granted her lawyer's motion to quash a subpoena for all but the memoirs. Now, Combs' new lawyer, Brian Steele of Atlanta, Georgia, that's Young Thug's attorney, attended the hearing on Friday. Steele has represented rapper Jeffrey Young Thug Williams for years, including during the year-long Young Slime Life Gang racketeering trial in Fulton County, Georgia, that led to Williams' release from jail last October on 15 years probation. Now, Steele has, that's what Diddy's hoping for. Diddy's hoping that he gets 15 years probation at this point, honey. Anything will do. Okay. Steele has since modeled $160 sweatshirts and sweatpants for Williams' Spider clothing line. And Williams recently released a shirt with Steele's image that said WWBD, for what would Brian do? Rapper Drake also titled a song, Brian Steele, that began, shout out Brian Steele, I'm too geek for the guys. Okay, so Brian Steele's a big hit now. I see that he got Thug off. Okay, please pay attention. So anyway, is he coming to the cookout now? I guess so. All right, anyway, I digress. So Drake also mentions Fulton County Judge Paige Reese Whitaker with the line, Big Paige Reese done freed up the slime. Okay, I'm so glad y'all ecstatic, but anyway, let me continue. Now, Steele walked into the Daniel Patrick Monahan Courthouse in Lower Manhattan on Friday with Georgia-based attorney Nicole Westmoreland, who represented Williams' co-defendant Quamarvius Nichols in the YSL trial with attorney Bruce Harvey. Judge Subramanian approved Steele's pro hoc vice admission request on Thursday. Moreland, a licensed attorney in Georgia since 2018, has not yet asked to formally appear in Combs' case. Well, Diddy has a dream team, honey. Please pay attention. Diddy probably thinks he's almost home free. But not so fast, Mr. Combs. Now, Steele has been licensed to practice law in Georgia since 1991. He earned his law degree from Fordham University School of Law in New York City and was licensed to practice in New York State until 1999. Now, the affidavit for his pro hoc vice application said that he was held in civil contempt in 1997 in a criminal case in Gwinnett County, Georgia, after a judge denied my client's plea of former jeopardy and I properly filed a notice of appeal. So the Court of Appeals of Georgia granted an emergency stay of the trial, finding that the trial court had been divested of jurisdiction and that I was wrongly held in contempt, Steele says. It also mentions his contempt of court arrest during the YSL trial last summer. Y'all remember that, honey? He went to jail for his client. Really dedicated, okay? I'd want him for my attorney too if I was in some trouble. But anyway, which occurred after he refused to tell Judge Earl Glanville how he learned that Glanville met secretly with prosecutors and key witnesses. And he ain't no snitch, okay? I just want y'all to pay attention on it. All right, this man has more street code than the ones from the streets. Please pay attention. All right, now on June 10th of 2024, I was held in contempt by Superior Court Judge in Fulton County, Georgia, in State of Georgia versus Jeffrey Williams et al. Case. When the judge wrongfully ordered that I reveal privileged information, the Georgia Supreme Court reversed his conviction in October. Steele was joined in court on Friday by Combs' lead attorney, Mark Agnafilo, okay, and Teeny Garagos, who have represented him since before he was indicted. Alexandra Shapiro, Anna Estavio, and Jason Driscoll of Shapiro Arada Bach LLP also were in court. Now, the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York has 6 assistant U.S. attorneys assigned to the case, all women: Maureen Comey, Meredith Foster, Emily A. Johnson, Christy Slavic, Madison Reddick, Smizer, and Mitzi Steiner. Not Mitzi. I haven't heard that name Mitzi since I was in 2nd grade. Okay, so anyway, honey, so they say that the Southern District of New York's assistant attorneys, 6 of them, 6 assistant U.S. attorneys assigned to the case, all women. Now, y'all know that's by design, right? Y'all know that's all by design, right? That they got all these women coming for Diddy. Please pay attention. They're going to take this personal, honey, okay? Diddy better not get up on that stand like he wants to do with his silly self. You can't tell him nothing, though, I'm sure. So anyway, Aaron Subramaniam, United States District Judge, for the reasons stated at the conference held on April the 18th of 2025, Combs' request for an adjournment is denied. His motion to exclude Rule 413 evidence and 404 evidence is denied. As to victim 5 and otherwise granted. And this gives, I'm not going to go through all of this because I've already told you all this already and shown you all the paperwork. This is just basically saying what the judge ruled, okay, in the case. So Diddy got a couple of wins, a couple of losses, okay? So at least one of those, the victims or accusers that have really nothing to do with the criminal case is going to testify. And then Cassie has to give up the memoir receipts, but not her bank accounts or the other things that Diddy requested. All right, so I mean that's pretty good, you know, as far as I'm concerned. I think that's pretty good. Now let's talk about Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe said the other day that he likes to date young men, and y'all want to go in on him. Now, of course. Of course, that was supposedly a Freudian slip, but I think that sometimes Freudian slips are really just our subconscious mind spilling the tea on us. You know, that's what I think, okay? Because the subconscious mind knows all. Please pay attention. Every now and then, they'll spit a little something out to tell on you. Now, Shannon Sharpe's lawyers released these X-rated text messages from the accuser, okay? And they're saying this is all consensual, same thing Diddy's attorneys are saying. So let's talk about it. And I have the legal doc, so we'll get into that in a second. It's like 14 pages. Now, alleged text messages between Shannon Sharpe and the woman accusing him of rape revealed X-rated missives that she sent the NFL legend leading up to her bombshell $50 million lawsuit. Now, the sexually explicit messages blasted out by Shannon's legal team include the accuser allegedly telling the former Denver Bronco, who's 56 years old, by the way, that she wants him to put a dog collar around my neck and tie me up and do bad things to me. It's all so embarrassing. Okay, first of all, can y'all imagine sitting in a courtroom saying such things in public? I couldn't. Sheila said Shannon sure did slip on when he told her himself, okay, oh my Lord, Shannon, I hate it for you. And this just really makes the rumors even worse. I'm sorry, it's true. Lillian X said, Queen be on it. Thank you, beloved. Now, I try. Now, so listen. Said she wants him to put a dog collar around her neck, tie me up, and do bad things to me. As the ESPN personality's defense lawyer named the plaintiff, who is only identified as Jane Doe in legal papers. See, they said her name. Now, the trove of purported messages clearly indicate the nature of their relationship was consensual and sexual in nature, and in many cases initiated by her with specific and graphic requests. Okay, this is what Sharpe's attorney, Lanny J. Davis, said in a statement. So y'all lying on Shannon. Now, the civil legal action was filed in Nevada State Court and claims the Hall of Famer committed sexual assault against the accuser near the end of 2024 and the start of 2025 during a rocky, I almost said that with a C, during a rocky consensual relationship that lasted for about 2 years. Here's the thing. Now, did she say this started near the end of 2024? Now, I know Shannon is not that stupid, is he? I mean, we already had this whole thing going on with Diddy since November of 2023. Okay, the look back window and all of that. All these people getting called out and exposed. Did he really do it? I guess we'll find out. Sharpe allegedly threatened to kill her, manipulated and controlled her, and repeatedly threatened to brutally choke her and violently slap her. This is all nefarious. But Sharpe categorically denies the allegations and is ready for a legal fight. Can y'all picture it? Please, everybody right now, close your eyes and see if you can picture Shannon going in on somebody talking about slapping, choking, and killing them. I'm sorry. I can't see it. Now, doesn't mean he didn't do it, but I darn sure can't see it, okay? I absolutely cannot. All right? But anyway, so goes on to say that they point out that the text messages allegedly prove that his client did nothing wrong. Davis says Sharpe and the accuser had consensual relations until January the 2nd of 2025, the day after she allegedly asked for $25,000 per week. Wait a minute. No. This says $25,000 per cheek, not week. I'm sorry. Yeah, $25,000 per cheek. And then it says, I know you miss this big juicy ass. $25,000 for each cheek. That's what she said. Do y'all hear this? Wait, though, said all these folks are hyper sexual deviants. Andrea said, don't believe this story. Honey, I don't. Not thus far anyway. $25,000 for each cheeks. I'm gonna tell that to my man to see how much I can squeeze out. This is hilarious, but let's continue. Honey, how do these people come up with this stuff? Okay, so anyway, $25,000 for each cheek, she allegedly wrote, according to the 44 pages of text messages Sharpe's team has released. 44 pages of text messages. That's a whole lot. Now, before that message, Sharpe wished her a happy new year and said if she sent him $50,000, she could come over to his house. Another alleged message states. So he told her if she sends him $50,000, he'll let her come over. Okay. Other adult-only texts released by Sharpe's team include when Jane Doe allegedly texted Sharpe a photo of a woman tied up in a compromising position and wrote on March 5th of 2023, tie me up like this and F me, with Sharpe replying, if I knew how, I would. This doesn't sound like Shannon did anything to me. Shannon said, if I knew how, I would. She then allegedly wrote back, it's okay, I have handcuffs. Or we can stick to those for now. Girl, why is you lying on Shannon, honey? If anything, Shannon should be filing sexual harassment against her. That's what this all sounds like, harassment. Shannon didn't want to do any of it from the sounds of it, didn't even know how. Alexa, play She's a Super Freak by Rick James. Honey, this is all crazy. So the two allegedly exchanged kinky messages again on January the 31st of 2024, when the accuser allegedly wrote, that just got my pee wet. Tie me up and do bad things to me. To which Shannon replied, cuff up. Jane Doe allegedly wrote, you still have my handcuffs? I want like some hardcore BDSM action though, and feeling kind of freaky lately. Honey, I don't know anything about this. What is BDSM? Can somebody please tell the queen what BDSM is, honey? I'm clueless. What's this? What is it? Does anyone know? Vince I am said face cheeks, bumper cheeks, or both. Sunset Night said, poor Shannon Sharpe. Say his name. He's a victim. I mean, to me, it does sound like Shannon is the victim. DJ Big 66, sadomasochism. Well, I thought that the SM part was that, but what's the BD part before it? I kind of thought that's what that meant, but what's the BD part? Huh? This is all nefarious. Oh, BD. Okay, I think I know now. I'm slow. Okay, Evelyn says, Queen, my heart was heavy after his death story. Thank you for making me laugh. I'm glad I could oblige, beloved. Okay, TC Dan says, someone else please tell the queen what it means. I think I got it now, Dan. Okay. Oh, no, I didn't have it. Darius said bondage and domination. Child, I didn't know anything about this. Y'all are nefarious, okay? Where do y'all learn these things from? Y'all must be some freaks of the week, honey, because the queen didn't know anything about it. But thanks for sharing. Okay, I won't be needing that in my on my side of town. Okay, so anyway, let's continue. It's all crazy. She said, I've been feeling kind of freaky lately, honey. I cannot. Hold on. She additionally wrote saying, I want to be abused, daddy. She told Shannon she wanted to be abused and now suing him for it. It's all some crazy work. Okay. She additionally wrote, I want to be abused, daddy, that March 14th. And then said, I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're effing me. I feel dirty saying any of this stuff. I can't do it on October the 9th, according to the Elizabeth. Ooh, honey, this is a lot for the queen. D Hood Rilla said, Queen is so innocent, she don't know. I am. Like, seriously, I didn't have a clue. I'm not even joking. TC Dan said he doesn't kink shame. I mean, I don't either. I just didn't know what that was, honey. BDSM, y'all are the most, okay? Demisha says she's not winning this case. Jamal says she must be Latino. Let me continue, honey. I don't know what this woman is, but other than nefarious from the sounds of it. So anyway, goes on to say the two also talked about her desire to have a baby with him, including allegedly writing saying, only if you put that baby gravy in me, then you can do whatever you want to me. And I literally ate so much food, I look like I'm pregnant with your big black baby. Oh, this is a bit much. This is getting too raunchy. I don't even want to read anymore. Okay, I'm done. This is hella raunchy. This is worse than Diddy's. This is more salacious than Diddy's lawsuits, honey. This is giving too much tea. Okay, TMI. Okay. Anyway, goes on to say, I'm going to skip past some of this. Okay, now it says the pair appeared to run into problems when Sharpe was heard apparently having, now it's making sense. Listen to this. The pair appeared to run into problems when Sharpe was heard apparently having sex on Instagram Live in September of 2024. Little Miss Doe got upset, apparently. Now, I was just about to ask, do you all think that she was the one that he was in that shower with? Because that definitely sounded consensual to me, but no. So she was mad about it. Now, in a series of alleged messages on December the 26th of 2024, she demanded a formal apology and continued to ask for one before Shannon wrote at one point saying, I've already apologized. Stop playing childish games. Davis, Sharpe's attorney, said the evidence paints a clear picture. This was a consensual adult relationship that included role-playing, asexual language, and fantasy scenarios initiated all by the plaintiff. The retired tight end Do they have to use the term tight end at this point? And the plaintiff met in 2023 at a Los Angeles gym when the woman was just 20 years old, according to the civil complaint. The Post reached out to her attorney. Okay, so that I've been said, now it makes sense. 20 years old? She don't have too much sense. Brian Cook said Queen is going to have to take a bath after this live. Okay. This is all crazy. Okay, so with that all been said, let's go to the legal docs. Okay, and let's just hope that it's not worse than these text messages. Now, mind you, the text messages likely won't even be in this because this is her filing. Shannon's attorneys are the ones that posted the text messages. Okay, so here it is. I'm gonna share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so now let's get into it. All right. And as you can see, she's represented by none other than the nefarious Busby law firm. Jane Doe, an individual plaintiff, versus Shannon Sharpe, an individual defendant. Okay. So a woman can say yes to consensual sex relations with a man 99 times. But when she says no even once, that no means no. Defendant Shannon Sharpe, a man who is accustomed to getting what he wants, completely fails to understand this basic concept. After many months of manipulating and controlling plaintiff, a woman more than 30 years younger than he, and repeatedly threatening to brutally choke and violently slap her, Sharpe refused to accept the answer no and raped plaintiff despite her sobbing and repeated screams of no. Now, defendant Shannon Sharpe, is a 56-year-old former NFL superstar. He claims to be one of the most successful sports media personalities in the country. Plaintiff is a young woman in her early 20s. In 2023, plaintiff was working out at a gym in Los Angeles, California, when Sharpe approached her for the first time. Previously, Doe had noticed Sharpe watching her during her workouts. At this time, Doe was just 19 years old. At the time, she did not know who he was, only that he was another older man oogling her at the gym. Doe could tell that Sharpe was much older than her. She found him physically intimidating. Eventually, he introduced himself. At his determined insistence, she gave him her number. Now, I want you all to pay attention because she's trying to paint a picture here. She's trying to paint a picture as if Shannon came off as threatening or intimidating to her, and then said at his determined insistence, she gave him her number. Honey, if you don't want to give him the number, why did you give it to him? Okay, did he put a gun to your head? Like, I want you all to pay attention to how she's already trying to frame the narrative. Okay, like this is something she didn't want to do in the first place. Oh, I saw him looking at me. He was just another older man oogling me in the gym. Girl, bye. Please sit down. Okay, if this all were true, she would have never talked to him in the first place, in my opinion. Now, goes on to say that, hold on, where was I? Okay, over the next couple of weeks, Shannon incessantly pursued plaintiff. He constantly approached her at the gym and attempted to contact her frequently with phone calls and text messages, asking to meet up, unwilling to take no for an answer. Unwilling to take no for an answer. Like, this all sounds like bullcrap. Why did you give him your number? Why didn't you just tell him to stop calling you? Why didn't you block him? Okay, like these women, honey, some of them just be out here lying to be lying. She's probably mad because of what she heard Shannon doing in that bathroom and never got past it. Okay, and probably wanted to have his baby so she can get money. I'm just saying this is what I'm getting. This is what it's given. This is what it's given for me. Okay, don't say I'm victim shaming, because first of all, in order for me to victim shame, she needs to be proven as a victim first. Jamal said it sounds like the Garden of Eden. Sure does. Okay, but let's continue. So anyway, it goes on to say he was unwilling to take no for an answer. Eventually, plaintiff gave in and agreed to meet with Sharpe outside the gym. However, before doing so, Sharpe demanded that Doe sign a non-disclosure agreement, or NDA, something plaintiff found a bit concerning. She wondered why Sharpe was so insistent on her signing an NDA. She refused. Despite his repeated efforts to get her to sign, she refused time and again. Eventually, he dropped the issue and invited her to his house. What followed was the beginning of a rocky consensual relationship that lasted nearly 2 years. The relationship was very unequal. Sharpe is more than 30 years older. Well, she knew that when she got with him. Is considerably wealthier, is physically much larger, and exponentially stronger. Now, Sharpe is famous and has power. Plaintiff and Sharpe saw each other on his terms and on his schedule as often as 4 times a week. Over time, plaintiff began to see Sharpe's true nature. She found him to be dishonest about his whereabouts. He would lie about seeing other women while insisting to her that she and he were exclusive. He often manipulated her, at times being sweet and loving to get what he wanted, and at other times being angry and aggressive to achieve his goals. She discovered over time that Sharpe was extremely emotional and possessed an uncontrollable temper. He displayed the characteristics of a true narcissist. He wielded his power, his influence, and his celebrity to control plaintiff and get exactly what he wanted whenever he wanted it, all the while jealously guarding what he considered his for himself. And yet she stayed with him. Please pay attention, for 2 years. Now, by October of 2024, Sharpe's behavior had grown progressively worse beyond anything plaintiff had experienced with him before. And at this point, he was insistent upon recording their sexual activities, sometimes without her knowledge. Sharpe was also sharing the videos with others without her permission or knowledge. Sharpe would repeatedly tell Doe that he wanted to do things, that he wanted to do what he wanted to do to her, or things that would make no other man want her. By this point, Sharpe was no longer able to credibly maintain the relationship was exclusive. He had at this point accidentally, on purpose to advance his career, went live on Instagram while having relations with another woman. Now pay attention, because she says that he accidentally, on purpose. Are y'all hearing this? Do you all think Shannon accidentally on purpose did that? Because you know that's what some people were saying, because people were questioning his sexuality. So do y'all think he did it on purpose? Okay, Vince I Am says she's giving Karen vibes, allegedly. Okay, sounds nefarious, I'll say that much. So Sharpe flew into fits of anger when plaintiff noted his infidelity to their relationship or called him out about his extraneous activities. What had once been manipulation, control, and intimidation now became something far more dangerous and sinister. Sharpe even figured out how to get into Doe's apartment complex without her permission. Sharpe made it clear that what Doe wanted was of no moment. That Sharpe would get what he wanted when he wanted it. In October of 2024, Shannon Sharpe violently sexually assaulted and raped plaintiff from the back door 2 different times in Los Angeles, Nevada, blatantly ignoring her request for him to stop. He did it again in January. Plaintiff left Nevada to temporarily escape defendant Shannon Sharpe. She now seeks justice through this action and other means. Plaintiff seeks compensatory and punitive damages in this matter in excess of $50 million. Plaintiff Jane Doe is an individual residing in Clark County, Nevada. Defendant Shannon Doe is an individual residing in Clark County, Nevada. He may be served at his residence, and they got the man's address in here. They got the man's address in here, and then says, or wherever he may be found. This is all crazy. Now, why did they just redact that? Okay, anyway, factual allegations. Defendant Shannon Sharpe is a former NFL superstar and a well-known sports media personality. After a 14-year season career in NFL, he is considered by some to be one of the greatest tight ends of all time. He is a 3-time Super Bowl champion and was recently inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. All right. Now they go on to talk about what he did in his retirement and all that. I'm not going to read all of that. Okay, so let's go back to start right here. Okay, so start right here. Okay, the first night plaintiff went to Sharpe's house, the experience was unlike anything she has dealt with before. Disturbing, unsettling, and given his subsequent conduct, very illuminating. When plaintiff arrived at his house, Shannon opened the door to his Beverly Glen mansion without a word. No meet, no greeting, no acknowledgement, no small talk. Without so much as looking at plaintiff, he simply turned away from her after opening the door and walked upstairs. Plaintiff hesitated but followed as she did not know what else to do or where else to go. How about back out the damn door, lady? Now, when they reached the bedroom, Sharpe pointed to the bed before disappearing into the bathroom and shutting the door behind him. He still had not said a word. Plaintiff sat on the bed, waiting, unsure of what to expect or if she should leave. Roughly 5 minutes later, he finally emerged, but still said nothing. Instead, he turned off all the lights and laid down on his bed. Plaintiff, uncomfortable and unsure of what to do, lay down as well. For roughly 10 minutes, there was nothing but silence. Are y'all hearing this? This is so crazy. Okay, are y'all listening? Did they have their clothes on? This I am said full on bombastic side eye. So you mean to tell me y'all just laid up in bed, not saying a word? He didn't say a word when you came in, points upstairs, you go up there, points to the bed, you lay in it, he goes in the shower, comes out, lays beside you, and y'all just lay there for 10 minutes of silence? Nobody says anything. He didn't even offer you a bite to eat. Honey, I'm always hungry. Okay? Anyway, let me continue because this is so nefarious. Okay? So there was nothing but silence. Then, without warning, Sharpe placed his hands on the plaintiff's neck from behind, pressed his erect cucumber against her body, and said his first words of the night. I knew from the first time I saw you that I was going to F you. Okay, well, those were your first words. Doe and Sharpe then engaged in fellatio. As they did so, Doe at some point realized Sharpe was using his phone. He was apparently recording her. Plaintiff could see that he was trying to be discreet, but it was obvious what he was doing. She said nothing, scared to confront him for what he might do or say. Scared? Girl, bye. When it ended, he rolled over and went to sleep. At some point later during the night, Sharpe woke up, grabbed the plaintiff by her vajayjay, and began having relations with her again. Now, she's making it like he did it all by himself. I want y'all to pay attention to the narrative that's being painted and pushed. She said he woke up and then grabbed her by the you-know-what and then started having relations as if she wasn't all into it. Girl, please sit down, but let me continue. The next morning, Sharpe woke up at roughly 4 a.m. to shoot a media segment for sports television. He woke plaintiff up as well and told her she needed to leave, honey. He used her like an old piece of Kleenex is what it sounds like. But he informs her that she had to be back by 9 p.m. exactly. The following night, plaintiff arrived at Sharpe's house at approximately 9:05, just 5 minutes past the time he demanded. The moment he opened the door, plaintiff experienced his rage for the first time. And that would have been the last time, because, girl, you don't even know him like that yet, do you? Sharpe immediately launched into a verbal assault. He screamed at plaintiff, berating her for what felt like hours. He accused her of disrespecting him, wasting his time, and warned that if she wanted to be with a Sharpe man, the Shannon Sharpe, not the Shannon Sharpe, she would have to learn obedience. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? Now, if he did all of that, why did you keep talking to this man for 2 years? Because this don't even make any sense, okay? This doesn't make any sense. Now, said she would have to learn obedience. Plaintiff was terrified and feared for her physical safety. Still enraged, Sharpe turned off the lights, grabbed her neck, and just like the night before, began having relations with her. This cycle of control, fear, and submission became routine. Yelling at her, controlling her, forcibly grabbing her by the neck when he got upset, saying he was going to kill her, and asserting dominance became the norm. Well, it's her fault it became the norm, because after he treated you like that the first time you came over there, why the hell would you come back? Like, you can't feel sorry for people that are just ignorant, because this is just all stupid to me, okay? Because I would have gotten the hell up out of there with a quickness, okay? This is all foolish, all right? Do we have to feel sorry for people that do this stuff? I'm just wondering, do we have to have empathy and sympathy for foolishness? Somebody let me know. Somebody let me know, okay? Like DMX said. But anyway, Over the next year and a half, plaintiff saw Sharpe at his house as often as 4 times a week. He continued to treat her like an object. That's all she was. He was just inviting her over there for relations. He was probably just inviting her over there for sex. Is that why you're mad, lady? Because you allowed yourself to be used and then tossed to the side like an old Kleenex? Because that's what it sounds like. Okay? That's what it sounds like. If what she said is even remotely true, it sounds like she was getting used. And that's her own fault. Okay? For allowing it to occur, as far as I'm concerned. Now, with that all being said, he continued to control her, not just physically, but emotionally and psychologically. He demanded complete control over her time and body, expecting her to be at his house on schedule at his command whenever he called. Okay, y'all hear this? Honey, Shannon was running things apparently. Okay, now the verbal abuse never stopped. He would berate and degrade plaintiff just as he had from the beginning. From the beginning, that's the thing. Because if he did it from the beginning, why would you continue to put up with it? Like, that makes no sense to me. Okay, none whatsoever, as far as I'm concerned. So one time specifically, he was yelling at her while there was a firearm visible in his room. Okay, terrified for her safety, plaintiff tried sharing her location with friends from her iPhone just in case. But Sharpe saw her doing this. The moment he realized what she was doing, he grabbed her by the neck and told her, "If you ever do that again, I will effing kill you." Okay? Now, please tell me you didn't come back after that. Sharpe's aggression and rage continued to escalate to the point that plaintiff's friends began to fear for her safety. So the friends were more scared than she was, because clearly she wasn't that damn scared. She kept coming back. For example, when plaintiff was with her friends, they could hear Sharpe yelling at her over the phone and would ask her if she was safe and if she was okay. In the summer of 2024, plaintiff and Sharpe each moved to Las Vegas for their own reasons. Shannon liked to say that the plaintiff followed him to Vegas, but that too was a lie. No, I believe she did. I was already going to say that. Okay, once in Vegas, Sharpe again insisted that plaintiff sign an NDA. She refused, and again, he persisted. But after enough resistance, he let it go and continued seeing her multiple times a week. His behavior did not change. He remained erratic, controlling, and verbally abusive, all while telling plaintiff that he was committed to an sexually exclusive relationship with her. Then in September 2024, Sharpe humiliated plaintiff. He live streamed himself having sex with another woman on Instagram for over 1.1 million followers to see. He later made jest of the incident on his podcast, Club Shay Shay and Show Nightcap. But for plaintiff, it was anything but funny. He had repeatedly assured her that they were in an exclusive relationship, albeit unhealthy and abusive. This was a lie that not only hurt her emotionally, it made her fear for her sexual health and risk of sexually transmitted disease. Well, honey, you should have been worried about that when everybody was saying that he was going with Hollywood, his assistant, his stylist. Honey, you worried about that after you heard that Instagram video, but baby girl, you should have been concerned about your safety and health and what he was doing on the outskirts of town when you heard the rumors about him in Hollywood. And furthermore, when you saw him in Hollywood, his stylist, okay, aka alleged boo thing, sitting courtside at the games. Baby girl, when they was on the airplane together on flights. Baby girl, when he was all between Shannon's legs, acting like he's fixing his clothes. Baby girl, that's when you should have been concerned about your health and safety. I'm just saying, please make it all make sense. But I digress. And at that point, plaintiff began to pull away from Sharpe. She stopped answering his phone calls and stopped telling him where she was and when he would demand to know. Plaintiff's feeble attempts to freedom and independence further upset Sharpe. He began flooding her phone with calls, demanding to know where she was. He called relentlessly, multiple times per hour. The harassment became so unbearable, plaintiff frequently began leaving Nevada, determined to cut off communication, resist his efforts to control her, and attempt to reclaim some control of her life. It took courage for plaintiff to make this effort. She remained terrified, even though she was thousands of miles away. Sharpe simply would not accept independence or freedom for plaintiff. In October of 2024, just after plaintiff returned from Europe, Sharpe's behavior became more angry, aggressive, and now violent. It was already violent if he said he was going to kill you, wasn't it? I mean, just because he didn't do it, that's still violence to me. Okay, I don't believe this lady's story. Y'all can believe it if you want to, but right now I have several questions. On October the 6th of 2024, plaintiff was working out at the Nevada gym following her usual routine. As she worked out, she saw Sharpe aggressively approaching her. She could tell by his look and by the way he moved quickly towards her that he was furious for having been ignored. As soon as he got close, he told her, "Sit the F down or I'm going to kill you." Right here at the gym? Honey, I'd have said, if I was her, I'd have said right here in front of all of these people. Is that really what you want to do? Okay. Plaintiff refused. "I don't want to talk to you. You cheated on me." Why would you care if he cheated? You should be glad. I mean, wasn't he terrifying you, harassing you, controlling you, making you have relations when you didn't want to? Wasn't he doing all these things and intimidating you to the point that your friends even fear for your safety? Girl, this all sounds like bullshit, but let me continue. His response was dismissive and controlling as usual. "You don't have a choice." Sharpe demanded that they talk in private. Again, the plaintiff told him no. She made it clear that she did not want to talk to him, be alone with him, or want him coming to her home. But Sharpe didn't care. He never took no for an answer. Sharpe forced plaintiff under threat to get into his car and go to her house. So she didn't holler out for anybody to help her while she was in the gym that I'm sure was crowded. She didn't call for, ask anyone, "Please help me. He's trying to make me go with him. I don't want to." She didn't say anything. Okay. Once Sharpe was inside her apartment, plaintiff tried to keep, I'm just saying that people who really want to cause a distraction, who really are trying to get away, will do a whole lot more, in fact, to get away. Okay, that's just facts. Now, once Sharpe was inside her apartment, plaintiff tried to keep the conversation in the living room, but Sharpe refused. He demanded they go into the bedroom. She said no. He didn't listen, nor did he care. Once inside the bedroom, Sharpe grabbed her from behind and forcefully positioned her to perform fellatio. He held her in place and then forced her to begin performing. He became even angrier and said, "You've disrespected me so much. I'm going to punish this a-hole. I'm going to punish this a-hole. I'm going to make it so no man will want you again." Plaintiff at this point was crying and sobbing. Tears streamed down her face as Sharpe repositioned her and took her from behind and inserted the cucumber in the hole. This is all nefarious, okay? As he forcefully graped her from the back door, he said, "Turn around and look at me." Sharpe grabbed her head, forcing her to look at him as she sobbed. He said at that point, "Look at this. Look at my arm. I've got chills. That's how good this is." Shannon Sharpe forced himself on plaintiff and graped her despite her sobbing in agony as it happens. He told her in the moment as she was crying that the experience was so good, it was giving him chills. Sharpe's behavior demonstrates that he believed plaintiff to be his personal property, possessed and owned by him. He also believed that the laws did not apply to him, that he could take what he wanted, and that no one could or would stop him. He was and is wrong. Listen to how BuzzFeed writes this. Okay, Sheila said it sounds like a movie script. Yes. Listen to how BuzzFeed frames the lawsuit. He says it as if he knows that every word from this woman's mouth is true. Once inside her apartment, Sharpe began undressing. Plaintiff firmly stated multiple times that she did not want to have relations without protection, demanding that he wear protection. Here's the thing. I thought she said she wanted to have his baby. I thought she wanted him to give her the baby gravy. Isn't that what she said? Please pay attention, honey. Okay, something's not adding up. The math ain't math. She knew that in the past, he had refused to ever use them, the protection that is, and believed that her demand would stop him from having relations with her. But although he refused to use the protection, he still insisted on the relations. She tried to resist him. She screamed. She had already expressed concerns for her safety. Why didn't she scream when she was at the gym? Somebody would have heard and somebody would have called 911, I'm sure, specifically the person at the front desk. Now you screaming now that he's got you where he wants you supposedly and trying to do nefarious things. Why didn't you scream before he got you there, lady? Okay, I'm not buying it, but let's continue. So she had already expressed concerns for her safety, knowing that he had been involved with other women, increasing the risk of transmitting a disease. The more she begged, Sharpe became more aggressive and made it clear he would not wear a protection and he was going to have his way with her. Sharpe grabbed her, pulling her around and positioning her to perform fellatio, honey. This is all nefarious, which lasted for roughly 2 minutes. Then Sharpe repositioned her, not 2 minutes. Okay, then Sharpe repositioned her and roughly forced himself, then plaintiff never stopped demanding and begging that he stop or put on protection. He ignored her. As soon as the penetration happened, plaintiff screamed and sobbed. Her cries for help did nothing to stop Sharpe. The assault lasted roughly 10 minutes, ending only when Sharpe finished. Okay. Plaintiff cried and begged repeatedly for him to stop. Plaintiff left Nevada after the assault. Plaintiff brings these causes of action in this honorable court to recover damages as outlined below. It is imperative that Shannon Sharpe and those like him are held accountable for their actions to prevent them from engaging in further sexual assault and sodomy with an S and harming future victims. What do you all say? What do you all have to say about it, honey? Do y'all believe a word of it? Do y'all believe a word of it? Because I just don't. Okay. Let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes before we continue. Lights up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so with that all being said, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. And you can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so now with that all being said, this all, sounds nefarious, at the end of the day. And here, let's go to the breakdown of the money she's asking for, the $50 million. I forgot to show you all that. Let's go to that. Hold on. Let me pull that back up. Here we go. Because she has an explanation for all of these millions that she's asking for. Please pay attention. Okay, now see right here, she says, general damages in the sum in excess of $10 million. Special damages in the sum in excess of $10 million. Punitive damages in a sum in excess of $20 million. And statutory penalties in a sum in excess of $10 million. Okay? So that's where she comes to the point that she wants this $50 million. Also, declaration of rights set forth above, attorney's fees and cost of litigation, interest at the statutory rate, such other and further relief of the court, the court deems reasonable under the premises. Okay? So with that all being said, honey, she wants her coins. And the story to me just sounds crazy. Okay? I mean, and here's the thing. We've had so many people come out and tell lies about being assaulted and about them being trafficked and whatnot. DJ Big Six said she must be crazy. DJ Big Six said 50 per cheek, 50 million. Oh, y'all are something else. But seriously, though, we've had so many people telling lies about certain things that, it really is. We're going to have questions now. Okay. It's no such thing as believe all victims because everybody's not a victim. Some of these people are making up stuff. It's all about a money grab at the end of the day. And, that's just what it is. Whole lot of lies have been told. And so now we're just more apt to have several questions. Okay, with that all been said, now let's move on to the next topic of discussion, which is none other than Trump. Because, they say that Harvard is suing him, as they should. Okay, I hope everybody sues him. I really hope the Democrats impeach him. Let's go to this video report.
We've got to get to some breaking news to send to us. We have just learned in the last maybe 90 seconds, Harvard University is now suing the Trump administration over those multi-billion-dollar cuts to research funding for the school. Harvard is calling it in this suit unconstitutional and illegal. Now, this is the latest development in an escalating showdown that you probably already know about. We've been talking about it for days now. The University of Harvard resisted a list of demands from the Trump administration on things like eliminating its DEI program altogether and mandatory sharing of some admissions and hiring data. Let me bring in Antonia Hilton, who's joining us now. I believe, Antonia, this lawsuit has been officially fired. I don't believe we have a response from the Trump administration yet, but bring us up to speed.
We do not have that response yet. But Hallie, what I can tell you is that this is the most aggressive and sort of comprehensive pushback that we have seen from one of these universities. So many of them have come under fire from the Trump administration. And their sort of stated aims here have been to root out, to combat anti-Semitism and violence on college campuses like Harvard's. But Harvard's lawsuit now is arguing that this has, and their demands have, been a violation of the school's First Amendment rights and is outright unconstitutional. They describe the administration threatening them with unprecedented interference in their operations. As you mentioned, the desire to audit the beliefs of students and faculty and change much of the way the school operates, and then also with the loss of billions of dollars. And there's a lot of attention in this lawsuit on what that would really mean here. Harvard is the oldest institution of learning in the U.S. It leads to millions, billions of dollars of value in terms of economic value, biotechnological value, the life-saving cancer research alone. A lot of attention is paid to that here. And the other thing is that much of this is actually happening at hospitals and sort of ancillary parts of the Harvard community and campus that have nothing to do with what's been going on with protests on the undergraduate campus that all of us would be visually familiar with itself. And so Alan Garber, who, by the way, is Jewish and has himself fought anti-Semitism on Harvard's campus and spoken out against it, he's really advancing the argument here that what the Trump administration is doing, he says, is using this as sort of a cover to take control of the university. And now Harvard and presumably maybe other universities are trying to push back in this much more aggressive manner. Hallie.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Okay, so with that all been said, TC Dan says, have you seen the latest on Kanye West? Yes, I did, honey. His incestuous relationship. I was planning on doing an upload video about that. Thank you for the question, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. So, at the end of the day, somebody said in the chat, I forget who said it, but they said that it seems like Trump's been in office for 3 years. It's only been 3 months. Okay, yes. It's nothing but constant chaos. Like you said, beloved, it absolutely is. Okay, Trump is just nefarious. And that's just what it is. He's absolutely nefarious at the end of the day. Okay, so with that all been said, I'm going to go ahead and conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Everyone, please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure, DJ Big Six said, yay, clout chasing as always, honey. You know he probably is, but I'm about to do a video about it and I'll upload it and you all check it out or whatever. With that all been said, TC Dan said, thank you, Queen, for the update. You're welcome, beloved. Okay, so with that all been said, everyone please like and share. Okay, I'm going to be uploading something on the spiritual channel for you all. And I will be back later, probably around 6. Okay, and so anyway, keep your notifications on. All right, so I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Okay, Jeff says, you know what, Queen? I hate to say it. I agree with you. Hope the Democrats impeach his ass. Jeff, now that was funny because, beloved, I know you've been going for Trump. And now he done effed up, huh? Okay. Absolutely, beloved. Thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings, honey. I feel like I'm about to lose my voice. But yes, absolutely. He needs to be impeached. He's doing too much. They need to waltz his ass up out of the White House in handcuffs and take him straight to prison, where he initially belonged in the first place with those 34 felonies, okay? He's doing the most is all I'm saying. Okay, he's doing too much. He's gone too far. All right, he has gone too damn far. Him and his entire bumbling idiots that he calls a cabinet. All right, Pete Hegseth specifically. Okay, so anyway, with that all been said, honey, I love you all to life. You all, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, and never destructive. And always, beloveds, remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got